I'm in salad and I saw the boys, episode 5. This leaves off with what is happening. The woman, she's locked up. She's locked up in her own chain and shackles because she just can't stop attacking Frenchie. But Frenchie's the one that's really there for her. But the episode does start. We get to see Popclaw. It opens up on Popclaw. She's kind of smoking. Someone who's caused a lot of stress, of course, is going to want to start smoking. And guess who's also there? A-Train. A-Train's like, hey! He walks in, hey! We're allowed to go public with our relationship. If only you tell me this information about who you told about Compound V. And she, of course, because she really wants their public to go relationship to go public, she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you all this information about who came into my house that one time and who I told about Compound V. It was some wanker, some skinny white kid, and another guy. And of course, she's like, well, the other guy was a Frenchie. Was a French guy. Frenchie? Oh, I know where your name comes from now. And she tells him this information. He's like, yo, I love you. She's like, I love you too. And then boom, he goes super fast and puts a bunch of heroin needles up in her arm. I was not expecting that because it was a very quick tone shift from like, oh, I love you, lovey-dovey, just please give me this information too. I'm going to murder you now because you said something, and I cannot have you alive saying words to people that we don't know. So yeah, you go dead. And how am I going to tell everybody what is happening? Oh, she died of a heroin overdose. He has to go to Homelander next. He's telling Homelander about this. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that this has happened to you. No, he's not. I'm not sure. I'm sure he's not sorry at all. Homelander's, but he's like, but what about you? Are you taking Compound V? And A-Train has to lie and say no. And A-Train also has to say that there are spoilers ahead after this point. And A-Train also says that he should have mentioned that there were spoilers ahead before getting this far. But y'all should be grateful that I got said it in the first place. That's exactly what A-Train says in the episode. He also says that he doesn't take Compound V, which is a total lie. Homelander's like, alright, good. Come here, pal, buddy up. Let's be bros, okay? And, of course, he's like, oh, you're a family. And, like, my pretty much immediate thought was like, oh, Homelander, you're being used. A-Train. A-Train, you're being used. Homelander doesn't actually care about you. I don't think he actually cares about anyone except for Madeline. And, oh boy, speaking of Madeline, she'll appear later in this episode. But for now, we're talking about just, we're at a Belief Expo. There's a lot of exposition about believing going on at this expo. Including, oh man, I understand personally what it's like to go to an expo. I've been to a lot of expos growing up, especially church expos, where it's taking place at like this festival. And there's like a huge artist. And it's just like a concert, basically. I've been to a few of those. And it's pretty much how the episode portrays it. It's a bunch of like, do y'all believe in Jesus? Do y'all believe that God died for our sins? Do y'all believe this? Yeah, well, time for you to give us money. Give money to the church today. Of course, Starlight. We do see Starlight. She's given this outfit because it is family friendly. And it's like, okay, it is family friendly compared to your other outfit, which is all leg, no skirt whatsoever. Yes, this is family friendly, as you put it in quotes. It doesn't seem, I mean, it seems like you're enjoying your time here because you know everybody here because you've done so many circuits. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like you're enjoying your time that much because you also got Ezekiel. And she has to deal with being public, and she doesn't like being public. And she's like trying to tell her mom this, right? And she's like, yeah, you should just do it for me though. You should do it because my friends love the fact that I'm Starlight's mom. And not because I actually love you and support you and think you should be good. Do good things. And do the things that make you comfortable. Also, Huey's there. Huey's there to talk to her. And they're friends. I love the friendship. He meets the mom. She's like, yeah, he's a friend. And I'm like, oh, that type of awkward interaction happens when you haven't talked about what your relationship is. I mean, they are friends. They're not really dating, but they're pretty close. Or they're about to get, like, even closer. And so this is fun. Of course, Huey's like, alright, I'm at this place, but guess who's also in his ear? You also got Billy Butcher. Billy Butcher is like, hey, you remember that Ezekiel guy? By remember, I mean, I'm telling you about this guy for the first time ever. Turns out, we got footage of him, hooking up with some guys. And normally this would not be a problem, but he's actively talking about how you gotta pray the gay away. And this is a lot of praying of the gay away. It looks like a lot of stretching your arms to coil around the guy's body and just kind of like start touching them. That's what it looks like. That's what pray the gay looks like. In this guy's eye. So, Huey is like being tasked to, you gotta blackmail this guy. You gotta do it. Also, here's your phone. Take it with you. Get into some baptism clothes. And, of course, he offers to go baptism. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get really baptized this time. Just so I can get real close to Ezekiel. But there's a package. There's a really big package where you can pay a lot of money in order to see Ezekiel. And it's like, I don't think a Christian organization should be like this, where you have to pay to meet the leader. But that's just me. That's just me. But anyway, he's like, hey, Huey's like, hey, Starlight, could you hook me up with some of the tickets to see Ezekiel? And she feels used. And I'm like, Starlight, if you only knew. If you only knew, we cannot talk to you about any of this or else you'll die. Or something bad will happen. You'll have knowledge about trying to take them to soups while being a soup yourself, and that's kind of a conflict of interest, so I'm not going to tell you about any of this at all. She does, in fact, hook him up with the tickets. And they go to the after party. Well, actually, before the after party, we switch to seeing Frenchie. He's cooking a nice home delicious meal. He's got like chicken, some broccoli, well, asparagus probably, and some type of like grain. I forgot what grain it was, but it looked delicious. And I was like, I'm so jelly. The female, the girl, sterile girl, whatever her name. She's referred to as the woman, or that woman. She's referred to by like a lot of different names. But he's like, yo, here's some food, right? And she pretty much lunges at him. But because she's chained up, he's kind of like squatting near the food. He's like, alright, I get it. You don't want your food, you just kind of threw the food out. This is sad. You just wasted food. But that's okay, because I'm gonna get to you. I'm really gonna get to you. And so now we get back to, boy, what is happening? You got Huey, Also, at Belief Expo, he's in the party. He's in a really high up party, and Homelander's there. And Homelander's like, "You must be Huey." "Yeah, here you go. Shake my hand." Also, this is still shaking hand. Also, you must be a really nice friend of Huey because holy crap, this is a very exclusive event. You must be really one special person. This is the shaking hand the entire time. This is me shaking his hand. Guess who also comes in? Ezekiel. Ezekiel's coming in. And it's time to shine. It's a moment of shiningness. We get a moment where we do see Ezekiel and Huey are alone together. Huey takes this chance to blackmail him. But before this happens, very integral scene, they get baptized, and we get to Huey's turn. Huey's like, yeah, I accept Jesus. And then he takes a really big breath. He's like, because he knows, he can feel that Homelander is about to, like, keep him underwater for more than, like, 5 seconds. And that's what he does. He does keep him under for, like, more than 5 seconds. And luckily, he held all his breath. And all you can see is just Homelander. Just above you, drowning you, presumably. If this was a different context, he would be dead. But since he's in front of a bunch of people, he can't exactly do that. He can get really close, though. And so, Huey's scared. Now we get back to the scene where he's, blackmailing, where he's blackmailing Ezekiel, and Ezekiel is like, "Hey, you don't know me, you can't just, like, slander me like that." Oh man, I love Huey. Huey's like, "Yeah, we had sex, and it was awesome. Your wiener was so perfect, and long, and stretchy." I love these adjectives. Long and stretchy. It was a stretchy wiener. It was stretchy. How big can it go? How big can you go? How big can you go? It goes from, like, I don't know, 6 inches to, like, 6 feet tall. It's like, no, it's so stretchy. Oh, that's so stretchy. It's the size of a person. Wow. So anyway, he does successfully blackmail him, though, because he's like, yeah, and if you, this was true, because if you don't, I'm gonna tell everybody. I have video evidence, and I have a friend who has video evidence, and he's gonna submit it everywhere, and if you don't tell me everything about Compound V, this is all going to go everywhere. And he's very successful at blackmailing him, which is to say, awesome. Then let's check up upon what Mother's Milk and Billy Butcher are doing. They're trying to find more information about the supers, which makes sense. I mean, they're doing it all the time. But specifically, they run into this lab. It's a really cool lab, where there's just a bunch of, there's a baby. There's a baby with laser eyes. And this is the point where we're like, oh, supers are not born. They're made in a lab. These are lab babies. And when he goes to realize that, a bunch of guards come by and they're like, yo, big shoot, we're gonna shoot at all the babies, the superhero babies. They won't die because, you know, they're superhero. But still, it's just like rattle a bunch of guns everywhere. And guess who has super baby? Billy does. And he uses super baby to the lasers to just like just rip through everybody in half. What a cool baby. It's also like, oh, this is Homelander 2.0. I mean, I guess all babies ever are trying to become Homelander 2.0, but this is a little bit scary because it's like, oh, does he have the same powers or even more gooder powers than Homelander? Only time will tell. But for now, we got a laser baby that Billy Butcher has, and it's pretty sweet. Let's get back to the Belief Expo real quick. There's a point earlier in the scene where we see Starlight. She's talking in a circle. People are asking him, hey, have you had a boyfriend? She's like, yeah, I've had a boyfriend. They're like, well, have you guys had sex? And she's about to answer like, well, honestly, I have, but I wouldn't do it again. I'm no farmer's tool, which is to say a hoe. And before she can respond with like all of that, you got the priest guy, looking at her with those eyes on his eyes, with his eyes on his face, and he's really looking at her with that look on her face, and looking at her, he's really looking at her with that look on his face. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna lie, I'm a virgin. So, next part where this all blows over, she's talking in public, she's talking on stage. Hey, Starlight's here, Starlight, tell us about all the things and such. And she first starts off like saying the script, like, yeah, believe God, love God, blah, blah, blah. Then she goes off script, she's like, yo, I don't know what I believe, I don't know what words I believe, this is all a script. I love God and all, but I don't think God would want me to say platitudes like this. And y'all really don't understand the experiences that I've been through. I had someone put their wiener, like a hot dog wiener, into my mouth, and I didn't go chomp. That is what you could do, by the way. You could just chomp. Go chomp, and then they're going to, the reaction is to like go like that, and you gotta like get your head out of the way. You gotta chomp, and then pull your head back, and then as they like go to try to grab you, that's when you go super fast, and he's like, pow, right in their, right in the neck. Now. Ow! That hurt. I didn't like do it at the full power that I could, because my body wouldn't let me. But if you do that to somebody as hard as you could, it would hurt them. So yeah, she talks about how she had wiener in her mouth, and then her mom's like, oh, okay, I quite understand now. I don't fully understand, I guess. I don't know my daughter as well as I think I do. Which is to say, no one ever knows their daughter as well as they think they do. That should just be, you should never assume you know someone, I think is the lesson here. No matter how well you know them, you should never assume that you know them. So yeah, she goes out and she's sad. Huey goes after her. Huey's like, yo, this is like the best speech ever. I love this. This is like probably the most true thing I've ever heard. She's like angry at him, like, you just wanted me to use me to see Ezekiel. And then he just opens up with about Robin's death. My girlfriend's dead. I just wanted a way to escape from that. And they're crying, they're both crying, and it's like, oh, this is like a bonding moment. I love bonding moments. The relationship is going to go so much deeper because they both bonded about a thing, and Huey's just a good guy. I love Huey so much. Alright, let's go back to Frenchie. Frenchie's being caught. He got caught when A-Train went to look at those tapes after he murdered his girlfriend. He saw their sex tape. So, okay, cool. Look down. Here's audio different. Here's him. Here's her killing the landlord. And then sees like 3 guys on the TV coming into her room. And Frenchie's one of the guys. So he sends this information to Black Noir, and Black Noir goes after him. And of course, he gets this information because, you know, Black Noir is after him. And he lets her out. He like uncuffs her. You're free now. And then she goes run. Frenchie, you know, is a little bit sad, but he's like, yo, I understand. I understand you, girl. I know what you mean. I know why you're going, why you're leaving. And then Frenchie is being attacked by Black Noir, but then the girl, she comes in and attacks him, and then he runs, and then she gets sliced and diced. And then she's presumed dead. And I say presumed because Frenchie goes up to her, is like, oh, she's died. I have to put a blanket over her. And then she see her face wake up. What? How did she awake? Look at the wound. It's all regenerating. What? She's Wolverine? What? This is awesome. This is like an ace. This is the best thing ever. And also the worst thing ever. Because Black Noir knows that us. But this is the best thing ever because we have an ace in its place. And that's how the episode ends. And I gotta say, wow. The Believe Expo thing was super relatable. Just because I've been to a lot of those expos. And it's just like, yeah, this is pretty accurate. This is pretty dead spot on. Huey's and Starlight's relationship is blossoming, which I love. Frenchie's and the girl's relationship is blossoming, which I love. She's not like at the point where she's immediately hitting and trying to scratch at him, which is good. Good on you. And Billy Butcher finds lab babies. And I liked that. It's like, oh, Billy Butcher, you should be the one looking for lab babies. And so I gotta give this episode a solid 8.3 out of 10. If you like that content and more content at patreon.com/ASEpresents for $3 a month for some daily vlogs plus some extended mint salad sauce. $20 a month, you get one movie review per one request per 1 month. So go check out patreon.com/ASEpresents. All other links to support me are in the link tree down below. On Fansly, I'm responding to all fan DMs. So hit me up on fansly.com/itsmintsalad. Till next time, I'm in Salad Saw. I'll see you later, my salad croutons and bacon bits.